Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story. It's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It's Tuesday! I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today. On my back deck, I've got Alice in the house, Jocelyn, Patsy, Jeanette, and Catherine so far. How exciting is that? Are you going to join us in just a minute? I hope so. We'd love to have you here. We have a great community, by the way. If you don't know that yet, what are you waiting for? The Hot Melt Sprint can be easily found on Facebook. And yes, we'll let you in. And yes, you're going to find an amazing group of women who are not only dedicated to the community aspect of being a part of, it's a little bit different than that. You know what it is? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It is more of a sisterhood. The support is amazing. The encouragement is incredible. And the other thing that's really good is having somebody who's on the same page as you, doing the same thing that you're doing, especially because we're starting the sprint on Monday. Who's in? Lizzie, hi. Who's in? I hope you're all in on Monday because it's really going to be great. If you missed last night's webinar, you can go watch it on replay. It's at savingdinner.com/sprint webinar. That's where it is. We had a great time and I did hot seats. First time I've ever done hot seats in a webinar like this. But it's great because you know what this does? This helps you to see things that maybe you haven't seen. It helps to have another pair of eyeballs on what you're trying to troubleshoot in your life. Am I right? I know I appreciate that. And that's exactly what happened and went down last night. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's going to refresh you and get you ready for Monday. And by the way, Monday, savingdinner.com/sprint, that's where you can pick up your guide. You must print it. You must staple it together. You must study it. You must use it. I'll know if you do. I'll know by the quality of your comments and questions if you have looked through it and read it. Yes, I will. But anyway, we start on Monday, and I will tell you, if you treat this in the same fashion, the same seriousness that you would if you were planning a wedding, you will get through this with flying colors, and you will say, why have I just waited for so long? That's what you'll say. Am I right? Right, Patsy? She knows. She's done this, and she's gotten the results, and so many of you. So get on it and let's get the webinar under our belts and let's get the Hot Melt Sprint queued up and ready to go on Monday. Yeah, I say yes to that. That's one thing. Number two is our Crave Water. Hello, Crave Water. Crave Water is fabulous. And you know what I've decided to do today? Show you how easy it is to use it, right? There's very few steps. There's no steps. It's just, this is it, right? Here is a glass of water, right? Here is Crave Water. Oops, Crave Water. Bop, 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 bop. Here is the scoop of Crave Water. Here it goes in. Watch. Woo, it's so fun to watch. Look how it magically, well, I would need a spoon to do it, but I'm telling you, so good. So good. And you know what happens? My cravings get wiped out. Number one. Number two is I'm actually helping to heal my gut because of the L-glutamine. And the third thing is it's helping with muscle soreness, which I need all the help I can get right now. I'm on a new program and it's hard. That's all I have to say. So it's really helping out. Strongly suggest you go take a peek-see at it. It's at savingdinner.com/crave water. That's where you're going to find it. That's where you can get it. Our supplement of the week is dropped. This is a proprietary blend, y'all. It's to help you drop your blood sugar. Listen, if you have blood sugar issues, whether you're on the pre-diabetic spectrum or you're on the other side of it and you're like, you know, working through some diabetic stuff, This is super helpful. It's got a blend of herbs and spices in it, and several other things. You'd have to take a look at the label. I would strongly suggest you do that. And if you're under a doctor's care for um, a chronic condition and you're on medications and what have you, do talk to your doctor about this before you give it a try. But I will tell you, if you buy 3, you're going to get 1 free. I take this. I don't have blood sugar issues. Maybe that's why. But it helps with your blood sugar issues. It helps with everything. And I strongly recommend that you take a peek at it. It is our supplement of the week. If you buy 3, you will get the 4th one free. Plus, we're going to give you our 1 pot low carb crock, I can't say it. I'm sorry. It's the low carb 1 pot recipe collection. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, you will get that. That's a $37 value. We're going to give you that absolutely free. So the drop is bomb. Go get it. Drop the bomb on me. Get it? There you go. Patsy's right on time. Hi, Martha. I think I see Ann as well. Didn't I see Ann just a second ago? Sure did. Hello, Ann. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, that's the scoop on what we have for our supplement of the week. savingdinner.com/show. Also, if you were there last night, we did a big thing. You know what we did? We took our kits and we put them on sale for 25% off. Did you hear me? 25% off. Usually they're 15% off. It's an extra 10%. That's a screaming deal. You can find them all at savingdinner.com/kits. Get it now. We'll put it out priority tomorrow. And guess what? You'll have it in time to start the sprint. Isn't that cool? Every single one of them are there. So go look at them. Stop what you're doing and go look at them. Also, the Etsy shop is open. And if you need full bloom swag, that's where you go. savingdinner.com/Etsy. And don't forget, by the way, on the kits, we have a couple that are they're big kits. And if you spend $300 in our shop, we're going to give you free shipping if you're in the lower 48 to say thank you for coming to us for your supplements, not going elsewhere. We appreciate it. We know you have choices. So do we. We all have choices. But I love it when you decide to do that with me. Anyway, that's a bug. Sorry. All right, I think I gave you all of the scoop. The quote of the week is, "The expert at anything was once a beginner." And that includes sprinting, right? That includes being a sprinter. So if you're going to get on the program for sprinting, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to go get your sprint. You're going to go get your kit. You're going to go get into the Hot Melt Sprint group. You're going to go watch the webinar, and you're going to be the most prepared and ready to go woman on the planet. You are going to love the sprint. I will just tell you. Hi, Debbie. Yes. Debbie, of course you can see the replay from last night. It's at savingdinner.com/sprint webinar. All together, one word. Hear the birds? They're just going nuts right now. Hi, Arlene. They're so pretty. I know. I love it out here. My husband has turned it into a construction zone. There's a story there, by the way. I will tell it someday. There's a story there. And so if I showed you everything right now, you would be a little bit horrified, especially those of you who have been here and seen my lovely deck. It is not lovely right now. It is a construction zone. Other thing I want to mention to you, too, is if you haven't read it yet, Getting Off the Carousel of Crazy with the workbook, I would strongly recommend this. This book was inspired by the sprint, or should I say the sprint was inspired by the book, which was inside of me at the time. But they go together hand in hand, because the point of getting off the carousel of crazy is getting your mindset straight. And it's also becoming and walking into the vibrancy that you want, and how all of it is interconnected. Isn't that so cool? The more I spend time on thinking about the interconnectivity of all things, the more I see it. Do you? I do that when I take walks, and I'm just having a gratitude walk, and sometimes a walking meditation. Sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with with all the things that are going well in my life. We can dwell and focus on the wrong thing, or we can dwell and focus on the beauty and the gifts and the privilege and all the rest of it that is ours. Cheers. Here's to you, Mother Hen. Love you, by the way. Hmm. So that's what we have today. That's the whole rundown of all the things. Thanks for listening to all of that. I know why you're here, though. You want some transformational tips for Tuesday, because that's what we're about. That's what we're about. Oh, and by the way, these books with the workbook and the whole 9 yards, you can find that at savingdinner.com/crazy. I'll also personalize it and sign this book for you, by the way. I know what it feels like, because this is the, what should I say, the deprogramming process that I had to go through after how many years of living in the diet culture. I was raised with a diet culture mom, right? My mother was on television with Alan Ludden. Remember him from Password? Because she did the Gloria Marshall program, which essentially, if you lived in Southern California in the 60s, you know what that is. And what it was is they ate, I remember her eating a piece of dry toast, one slice of bacon, and black coffee. That's what her breakfast was. I don't know what her lunch was. And I remember dinner was just as Spartan. And my mother got down to twig size. And then she went to the Gloria Marshall salon where they did all these. It was kind of like, Lucy and Ethel when they'd go and they'd sit on the vibrating machines at the spa. Pretty much that kind of thing. So, yeah, my mother was on TV. She got royalty checks for a while. It was quite a thing. She also had an ad in the newspaper, all in the 60s, with her big beehive hairdo. And, but she was a card-carrying member of the diet culture club. And she taught me that way. She raised me that way. So no wonder, my weight, I have been as low as and my adult size, as low as 120 pounds, as high as 237 pounds. I've been all over the place, up and down, more than one time. And it wasn't until I finally understood that the mindset piece of this whole thing and who we are is not about the color of our lipstick. It is not about the size of our jeans. It's not about fitting in, conforming, being all things to everyone. It's about being authentically yourself, because you're more than enough. It's about stepping into the vibrancy of your life and embracing where you are and who you are. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. So, all that said, read this book if you have not yet. And I don't know. At some point we did this in Inner Circle for a while there, but I also, think if maybe sometimes it might be a good idea to just do a book club on it. I don't know. I just want to get as many people checked out of the diet culture as I possibly can. That's one of my goals, because it is nothing but damaging to your psyche, to your health, to your metabolism, the whole bit. It's just garbage. Debbie is looking for the Getting Off the Carousel book, and you can find that at savingdinner.com/crazy. That's where it is, Debbie. And it comes with a little workbook. And the workbook's really important because it helps you to work through each chapter, rearrange some brain cells, build some new neural pathways, always. Hi, Kathy. So that's what that's about. Anyway, let's get into it, because we were talking yesterday about the little things, how those little things are actually the big things, and how little things consistently done every day completely change things. Who knew that a little thing like making your bed every single morning could have such a positive impact on the rest of your house and the way you feel about yourself, and every time you walk in to your room, how you felt about things. Like it or not, what we oftentimes do is we see ourselves in the reflection of what our environment is all about. And I'll tell you this, that when you enjoy visual peace and beauty, it reflects back to you. It feeds your soul. And when you don't, you feel that agitation. Right? This is why our environments are so important. The beauty around us is so important. Going out and taking some weeds out of your flower bed is so important. It's not just about the accomplishment, it's about how it makes you feel. If we can start connecting the dots that how we feel about something after doing it, then we're motivated to keep doing it. And that's where the consistency comes from. That's also how we make momentum happen. And that's a little thing that is a huge thing. That's what we talked about yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's show, obviously it's here. Just look at yesterday's show and also get the show notes, for heaven's sakes. Our show notes come out every single morning in the newsletter the next day. We do that. Just go to Saving Dinner. You'll get the annoying pop-up, sign up for the newsletter, and we'll send you pertinent stuff every single day. But I thought about this, and I thought about how little things were also the needle movers when it came to the hot melt sprint, because the hot melt sprint is coming up, and I want this week to be the week of preparation. It's the pre-warm-up, right? It's the warm-up to the hot melt sprint. So those of you who are new to this, and I strongly make a strong recommendation to dump the dairy, and that includes the cream in your coffee, and go to black coffee. And that's where people freak out at me. But it is one of the best things you can ever do. I mean, losing the cream in my coffee after, I don't know, I was in my 50s when I finally gave it up. I mean, years of doing this. Finally gave it up. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. The first cup, second cup, whatever. And then after a while, it was just like, I actually like it better this way. It tastes better for whatever reason. And I always used to look at black coffee drinkers like, what on earth is problem? That's terrible. Ew, I could never do that. Well, the more we tell ourselves that, the more we make that the truth and the reality, right? So anyway, this week is the pre-warm-up of doing things like that, but it's also getting your head around what it is that you're embarking on doing on Monday. We don't just take this 18-page program and say, all right, let's see, where's the plan? And skip all the rest of it, right? Instead, if we take this and we absorb it in and we read it as if we are going to be tested on it later, I don't know about you, but I want to get an A. I was that girl. I wanted to get an A. So let's look then at the little things that can move the needle. And we have to remember that we're not only training what's going on the end of our fork, like I said, but we're also training on our brains so that we are not just looking at, what's on the end of the fork going, oh man, I have to do this, and blah, 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 blah. Instead, we're going, I get to do this. This makes me feel better. This is going to be corrective for me. This is going to get rid of my inflammation. This is going to make me feel better. I need to learn this. I need to embrace this learning curve. That's the thing that we need to look at, because it is all about the neural pathways, y'all. If you tell yourself enough times that you can do something, then you are going to pave the way for it. In other words, your reticular activating system is going to look for evidence to support that thing that you keep saying that you can do. If, on the other hand, if you say that you can't do it, your neural pathways are going to stay conditioned and in that way that it's never going to happen for you. Our words are that powerful. And our brain is constantly seeking evidence to support the things that we think and the things that we talk about, right? That's just the way it is. So let's talk about what we can do. What are some little things that we can do? The practical application of the hot melt sprint. Well, the first thing is the hydration factor. I have you make a hydration station. You know that, right? The hydration station is half your body weight in ounces in hydrating liquids, which means your coffee, your tea, your, bone broth, your smoothie even, and of course, water. And when you figure out that whole equation and subtract out how much bone broth you're going to be drinking, how much smoothie, coffee, etc., all that stuff that you have in there, then you can figure out the correct amount of water and put it into a hydration station. Grab all the water bottles you need, fill them all up so it's a done deal. Put it in the fridge if you like it that way. Add some crave water if you need a little help with those cravings. It'll really make a difference. All of it. And you can also try the old trick. It's tried, it is true, and the studies have proven that. And that's drinking a glass of water before meals. One caveat though, I would say 15 to 20 minutes before a meal. allow it to settle a little bit into your stomach. And that's one of the ways that you're going to be getting that water in. And it's also one of the ways that you're also going to be helping your hunger hormones correct themselves. A properly hydrated body functions better. And if you're not hydrated, then everything is wonky doodle off. I will tell you a story. We played pickleball on this weekend. We had, you know this, I told you this, we had a tournament. And my husband on Saturday, we were in the, I think it was Saturday, we were in the water and it was hot. It was, everything. Oh no, it was Friday because he played singles. Which I was like, why would you do that to yourself? It's just brutal. And it was hot and everything else. And we just went down, got into the water, and we're swimming around. And then his legs started to seize up on him. He started to have these leg cramps like you wouldn't believe. You know what that was? Dehydration. When your body is dehydrated, guess what it does? It takes the water from your extremities and brings it up into the places where you desperately need it. So if you are inadequately hydrated, your body is going to start messing around with you get water and you don't. And it doesn't care about the pain that you feel. It doesn't care about the seizing and the clenching and the shaking. It doesn't. And, same with restless legs and all of these things, they're all connected to dehydration. When our bodies don't have what they need for all the functions, they're going to prioritize who gets it for the most important functions, like your kidneys and your heart beating and blood coursing through your veins, stuff like that. You're going to get headaches. You're going to have all kinds of issues by not properly being hydrated. And the last thing that I would say, which is the thing that most women are listening to, is you're also not going to lose weight the way you should be. It's going to really hold up that weight loss situation. So we got to be looking at that. We need to look at proper hydration, period, and understand that it has to do with our body weight, half of which we need to take. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces is what you need to hydrate every day. And I'm not talking water. I'm talking all the beverages and liquids. And all the beverages does not include anything that looks like a soda or a diet soda or anything such thing. It's coffee, tea, a Pellegrino or sparkling water, seltzer, something like that, things of that nature. Start doing those things and watch how things start to shift in your life. Set alarms, use your, however it is that it's going to make it work for you so that you're not stacking all of your hydration at the end of the day. And so that you're up all night peeing. Nancy said she was hospitalized from dehydration. Oh, but that was a lesson. That was a lesson, I bet. We don't need that. We don't need that. I got lightheaded on the court yesterday, and I drank when I'm playing, and it's hot. I'm in the mountains. It's in the low 80s, not very humid at all, sometimes a little bit, but it's still hot. It's out on the the pickleball courts in full sun. I have sunscreen on. I have a hat. I have glasses. I have all the things on. But I got a little lightheaded. I had to just stop. I had to get off the court. I had to go drink some water. And 40 ounces is what I drink. I drink did you see that? All of a sudden it just went bzzz, start to whatever. Are you still here? Anyway, but lightheadedness, that's part of it too. That's part of being a little bit dehydrated. We have to watch it. We have to keep that hydration levels up. This is how we keep our health in optimal shape. That's number one. It's number one for all of us. Number two is understanding that green is the queen of all the foods that we eat. It really is. Yes, I know. I always say prioritize protein, of course. But when it comes to vegetables, that green is the first thing. Green is incredible. Green contains all the phytonutrients that your mitochondria need to operate optimally. And your mitochondria, that's the little factory, energy factory inside each one of your cells. And if you don't feed it, it's like driving your car on the reserve tank the whole time and just going off of fumes. You need real fuel. And that's what this green stuff is going to do. Plus, it adds in the fiber, and it makes all the difference in the world. One big thing that I do that is so helpful is my smoothie, the Target Trifecta smoothie, which has the Just Juice veggies in it. Did you know our Just Juice veggies, one scoop equals 7 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables a day? And then you add that to an already healthy diet. What do you think is going to help happen with your energy levels? Boom, through the roof. I've noticed that. It's crazy. It works like amazing. So if you can prioritize your protein and then think in terms of how much green can I possibly eat? I can eat a green salad. I can put broccoli or asparagus on my plate. There's so much green that I can eat. And you will never be eating too much green. Nobody binge eats on green, by the way. Not a soul on this planet binge eats green. So let's do this. Can you do this? Pinkies up if you think you can do. I know you can do this. Of course you can. Number 3 is to plan your meals. Well, duh. But you would be surprised at how many people think that they can just shoot from the hip. You know, they go out, there's a traffic jam, there's a this, that, and the other thing. And then they're just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm starving to death here. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you one big thing that you can do that will make a huge difference. Always be prepared. Always have something just in case in your purse. That's not to say that purse is not a snack satchel. It's holding something in there just in case of emergency. It's sort of like having a fire extinguisher. That fire extinguisher isn't there for you to use just because you want party favors. It's there to be used in case of emergency. Same idea. So keep something in your purse so that you're not tempted to drive through or do something else that you'll later regret. Okay? That's what that's all about. And as far as planning your meals, I always marvel at these millennials. Sorry, but whoever's a millennial here, if there is one or two, but they're big into the meal planning, and they buy all these containers and they're laying it all out, and they're going, look, I got 6 meals out of this. And you can see them on TikTok. You can see them whatever doing their videos on their meal prep for the week. And while I look at that and say, yeah, that's pretty cool, whatever, I have a tendency to, like, for example, if I'm going to grill a bunch of chicken, I'm going to grill a bunch of chicken. That whole grill is going to be filled with a bunch of chicken that I've marinated and now I've grilled, because the next day, man, I'll tell you what, I'm going to love that hot grilled chicken for dinner. I'm also going to love it in a salad. I'm going to love it the next day as well. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be yummy. And why not do things in bulk? That's called planning your meals. That's called being prepared. Making that hot milk dressing, easy peasy, double, triple the recipe, blend it up, plan it out so that you have what you need when you need it. There's nothing worse than stopping everything and doing, hold on, I got to make the dressing. Now, it only takes a few minutes, but if it's done, it's done. If it's done, think in terms of mise en place, right? You know what mise en place is? Everything in its place. And everything is ready to go. Because when you order something in a restaurant, like let's just say fajitas, for example, do you think that they're sitting there going, oh, we have an order for fajitas, and somebody's in there cutting the steak like this, and then another guy's over here chopping the peppers and the onions? No. It's all been done in advance. We can do that. We can make it easier on ourselves. We can be prepared and ready to go. Period. Do that and watch how much easier it is as we go through this learning curve to get things done. Yeah? Plus, don't you love the recipes in the Hot Melt Sprint? Come on, they're delicious. Number 4 is to really start eating mindfully. We have a tendency to just down the hatch, eat fast, don't chew thoroughly. But what if we stopped for a minute, had a moment of gratitude for our food, said thank you for it, even. And then as we say thank you, chewed it thoroughly, enjoyed it thoroughly. and putting our fork down in between bites. I mean, I'm talking to myself here. I'm a speed eater like nobody's business, but I have to slow down. I notice that I eat way faster than Mark, and I have to put my fork down. Otherwise, I'm just going to go. I get hungry, but that doesn't mean that I need to inhale my food. Your last name is not Hoover. I mean, maybe it is, but it's not about the vacuum, honey. It's about you slowing down and eating like a human. Eat like a lady. Quarter size bites. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Put your fork down every once in a while and just enjoy the process. And as you are doing this, thinking about how that food is definitely helping your body and how good it feels to do this little thing of just chew a little more thoroughly and just taking your time with your food, right? Number 5 is portion control. Now, you know me. We do not count anything here. We're not getting out measuring cups and all of that, and we're not weighing our food. We're not counting macros. We're not peeing on sticks. We're not doing any of that. However, it's good to know where you are sometimes. It's good to kind of figure out, well, how much protein am I getting? How much is this really? Just so you know, just so you have an idea of what is what. Because, we have to understand this one thing. Just because, this is a biggie, by the way, just because it's healthy doesn't mean overeating is an option. Because overeating, healthy food or non-healthy food, is absolutely inflammatory. Your body can't process that. And as a matter of fact, your body will say, okay, well, you ate too much, so we're going to have to store this. That's how we get fat added to our body, is because there's nothing else your body can do about it. Nothing. It can't store glycogen anymore. It doesn't have anywhere for it to go, so we store it on our bodies. You know what that looks like, right? We've all felt that one. So stop with the overeating and start thinking in terms of, what is a good healthy portion for me? How many ounces of protein do I need? And you can figure that out as well, especially if you're postmenopausal woman. You're going to want to eat as many grams of protein as your ideal body weight, because we need to be protein centric. Prioritizing our protein is massively important to keep our muscle in our bone. Enough said on that. But this is an interesting thing, because for the longest time but it's healthy, just strapping on the feedback, because I had a problem with food. If there was food, I ate it, and every meal was a Thanksgiving meal. So much food. I was a volume eater. And so to bring it on down and to really get with the program and to understand what is important, that's when it is that it struck me about this idea of portion control. I get to control what goes on my plate. I get to control it. And so if we start small, we can always add. We don't have to clean our plates either. You're not going to go to prison because you left a little extra steak on your plate. Okay? We don't have to be the cleanup police when it comes to our plates. And the last thing that you need to do is to remember that when we do all of these things, when we think about these little things on a daily basis, with every single meal, with everything that we're doing, then we're going to the learning curve is going to go a lot smoother. It's going to be less bumpy and less, agitated. Because till we get to this place where this is just what we do, the learning curve is there. So embrace it. Instead, say, I'm ready for it. And always look at, how did you do that day? It's not going to go perfectly, but it can go excellently, especially if you're able to put a critical eye on what it is that you did and do a little bit of analysis and what it is how you either had a failure, or it just didn't work out right, or there was something left out, or whatever. Course correction is everything, and it helps us to get better for the next time. So if you are in that place, and if you are trying right now to get ready for your first sprint or your 10th sprint, All of these pieces are going to make it that much smoother as you learn how to really lean into this program. It's anti-inflammatory. It's there to support your energy levels and the vibrancy that you're seeking. I know you are. Because if you want to live your life in full bloom, everything counts, including what's on the end of your fork, the thoughts that you think, the people you hang out with, and the way you live your life. Intentionally and on purpose, that's my heart for you. Anyway, I thank you for joining me today. I hope that was helpful. I do. And tomorrow is Wise Women's Wednesday. Are you going to be there? I sure hope so. We're going to be here. We're going to be doing things together. So pinkies up. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.